Good morning. I hope everyone's okay. I'm currently walking around the churchyard in Great Burstead, St Mary Magdalene Church, which is, I'll swing you around, which is over there. And today we are going to search for the final resting place of 18-year-old Leah Betts. Well, she died in 1995 she took an ecstasy tablet, which is a bit of a dodgy one, should we say. And there's a lot more to it than that, which is why I'm here. I mean, the girl was only 18 years old. Her family said at the time that she hadn't taken them before, but her friends disagreed and said, yes, she'd taken them on a few occasions previously. But as I said, there's a lot more to this backstory than meets the eye. So I'll tell you a little bit about Leah Betts while we have a little look around the churchyard, and then we'll take a walk over to the actual cemetery, which is attached to the churchyard, and we'll go and find the final resting place of Leah Betts.
Leah Sarah Betts was a young lady from Latchington, Essex, who died at age 18 after taking an ecstasy tablet and then drinking approximately 7 litres of water in a 90-minute period. 4 hours later, she collapsed into a coma from which she did not recover. Her death received intensive media coverage, and her family have since campaigned against drug abuse. When Leah Betts was first admitted to hospital in a coma, her family released her image to the national media as an example of the dangers of illegal drugs. This campaigning continued for several years after her death. Leah's mother, Dorothy May Betts, had died of a heart attack 3 years prior, in 1992 at age 45. Following this, Leah lived with her father, Paul Betts, a former police officer, her stepmother, a nurse, and her brother, William, who was 7 years her junior. The fact that Leah's life was typical of middle-class families in Britain was a likely factor in the widespread coverage of her death. For many years prior, the media had portrayed typical drug users as being from broken homes in inner-city areas. It was suggested the pill she had taken was from a contaminated batch. Not long afterward, a 1,500 site poster campaign used a photograph of a smiling Leah Betts with the caption, "Sorted, just one ecstasy tablet took Leah Betts." Alternative rock band Chumbawamba responded with their own anti-poster reading, "Distorted. You are just as likely to die from eating a bay leaf as from an ecstasy tablet." Leah Betts died on the morning of 16th of November 1995, 5 days after being admitted to hospital when her life support machine was switched off. Her funeral took place on the 1st of December 1995 at Christchurch, Latchington. She was buried alongside her mother at St Mary Magdalene Church in Great Burstead, Essex. The December 1995 murder of 3 alleged drug dealers in Rettendon, an event dubbed the Range Rover Murders, has been suggested by the media as a potential act of revenge for Leah Betts' death.
I'm now walking into the cemetery part, and as you can probably see behind me, you can see the graves behind me. Yeah, I'm walking into the cemetery part, and this is where we'll find the final resting place of Leah Betts. I actually found her quite quickly, considering I didn't actually know exactly where she was buried. But anyway, the backstory. Everyone's heard of the Essex boys, Tony Tucker, Pat Tate, Craig Rolfe. They were shot dead in Rettendon, and people say that they are the ones that are responsible for supplying the ecstasy tablet that killed Leah Betts. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't think anyone actually knows if it's true. But that's what people are saying. That video will be coming up, by the way. I'm covering that probably next week or the week after. And what it is, they had a supplier, a drug supplier, that actually came to them and asked them, because they were the doorman of clubs in London and Basildon, and a drug dealer actually came to them and asked for permission to sell drugs in their club, and they agreed, providing he gave them a cut. Unfortunately, one of the nightclubs he was dealing in was raided by the police, and his little runners he had running around actually selling the drugs in the club all dropped their drugs and ran. Now, he had them on tick from the Essex boys, Pat Tate, Tony Tucker, Craig Rolfe. So now he was indebted to them. Now, they had a batch of ecstasy tablets that weren't really kosher, and they gave them to him to supply in the clubs. And unfortunately, Leah Betts was a recipient of one of those ecstasy tablets, and that is why we are going to visit her final resting place today. It's actually quite a nice little cemetery, this. Nice view in the background, looking out over Wickford, I think it is. Right, now I know her grave is around here because I've seen it. There it is. I found it. Let's go and have a look. Here it is. Sadly, this is a final resting place of Leah Betts. In loving memory of Dorothy Betts, died 1st of September 1992, aged 45, sadly missed. Also, Leah Sarah Betts, born 1st of the 11th, 1977, died 16th of the 11th, 1995, who has given life and hope to so many. We will always love you. Now that, unfortunately, is the final resting place of an 18-year-old girl who went out with some friends, bought a little batch of ecstasy tablets which they thought would be okay, and unfortunately they weren't. So now we have an 18-year-old girl in a cemetery. She had 4 friends with her, and 2 of those were actually convicted, or 2 of those were actually prosecuted. One of them was given a suspended sentence, and the other one was actually acquitted in court. And the other 2 were never charged with anything. But anyway, that is it for another one. Unfortunately, an 18-year-old girl. But as I say, either next week or the week after, I will cover the other side of this story, and we'll go and see the resting places of all 3 of the Essex boys that were gunned down in a Range Rover in Rettendon. Anyway, until then, I'll see you soon. So bye bye for now.